The torches burn low tonight, beside the sacred river, where reeds whisper ancient names, and the temple stones hold shadows from 1,000 years. I sit here, in the quiet dark, with scrolls unrolled before me, their papyrus edges soft with age. Tonight I speak of the journey, the passage all must take, through the Duat, the realm between sunset and dawn, where souls travel, where gods await, where eternity begins. The Nile flows past, its surface mirrors stars, and I remember the old ways, the sacred knowledge, passed down through generations of priests, through keepers of tombs, through those who prepared the departed for their voyage into darkness, into light. Let us begin gently, as evening begins, when the sun god Ra descends into the western mountains, his golden bark sailing downward into the waters of night. The horizon glows red, then amber, then the softest purple, and darkness comes, not as an enemy, but as a threshold, a doorway opening. The priests know this hour. They gather in temple courtyards, their white linen robes catching the last light, their feet bare upon limestone, cool beneath them. They chant the evening hymns, low voices rising and falling, like the river's eternal rhythm. In the west, beyond the living lands, beyond the green fields fed by flood waters, beyond the villages and cities, lies the desert, endless sand, stretching toward eternity. There the tombs are built, carved into cliff faces, hidden beneath stone pyramids, sealed behind massive doors. Within these chambers, the dead rest, but they do not sleep. They prepare. For when darkness falls, when Ra himself enters the underworld, the souls rise. They stand. They remember their names. They remember the spells, written on their coffin walls, painted in columns of sacred words. The journey begins at twilight, that liminal hour, when the living world softens, when the boundary grows thin, between here and there, between now and forever. The soul emerges, from the body preserved, with natron salt, with precious oils, with linen wrappings, layer upon layer. The car rises, the vital force, the essence of life, and the ba, the personality, the spirit shaped like a bird, with a human face, wings spread wide. Imagine a tomb chamber, deep within stone. No sunlight has ever touched these walls, only the glow of oil lamps during the funeral rites, only torchlight carried by priests performing the opening of the mouth, so the deceased might speak again, might eat and drink. In the afterlife, now, in the stillness, the painted walls seem to breathe. Scenes of daily life, hunting in marshes, harvesting grain, offering to gods. These images are not mere decoration. They are sustenance, magic, reality for the soul. The soul stands in the darkness of the tomb, but it is not alone. The gods are present, always present. Anubis, jackal-headed guardian, protector of the dead. He stands at the threshold, his dark form solid, real. He has guided souls for countless generations. His voice is quiet, patient. He knows the way, through every hall, past every demon, around every pitfall. He waits for the soul to remember, to gather courage, to take the first step. The tomb door, from within, is not a barrier. The soul passes through. Stone becomes mist, solid becomes shadow, and beyond. The Duat opens, vast, incomprehensible to living eyes, a realm of twisted geography, where rivers flow upward, where caverns stretch infinitely, where time circles back upon itself. The sky here, if it can be called sky, is not the familiar blue of day, nor the star-scattered black of night. It is something else, a darkness that contains all colors, a space that holds all places. The first region is called the realm of the horizon, where day meets night, where the living world ends and the eternal begins. The sand here is neither hot nor cold. It simply is, stretching in all directions, dunes that shift but never quite move. The soul walks, feet touching ground that feels real, yet somehow insubstantial. Each step is an act of will, of remembering forward, the spells learned in life, now spoken aloud, the words written in the book of the dead, carried into the tomb, now rising to lips. I am the one who passes. I am the one who knows the way. I have spoken the names. I have been purified. I have been anointed. I have been given bread and beer for my journey. These words, ancient beyond reckoning, spoken by millions of souls before this one, they create a path, like stones laid across a river, each word a place to stand. The soul moves forward, voice growing stronger. The darkness listens, recognizes, allows passage. In the distance, if distance has meaning here, shapes appear. The first guardians, serpents, vast and coiled, their scales gleaming, with a light that comes from nowhere, from everywhere. Their eyes are open, watching, but they do not strike. Not at those who know the words, not at those who carry truth. The soul approaches, speaks their names. O serpent of the first gateway, I know you. I am not your prey. I am a justified soul, pure of heart. Let me pass. The serpent's head, larger than a temple column, lowers, regarding the soul. With eyes older than mountains, it does not speak, but understanding passes. The path opens. The soul continues. Behind, the serpent resumes its eternal watch, coiled around the threshold. Between the first region and the second, the journey is long. There is no hurrying, no rushing toward dawn. Each step must be taken, each challenge faced, each name remembered. The second region is water, not the familiar Nile, not the irrigation canals, not the wells in village squares. This is the primordial water, the Nun, the waters that existed before creation, before land rose, before skies separated from earth, before the first sunrise. Dark water, absolutely still, reflecting nothing. Yet somehow the soul must cross, must find the bark, the sacred boat that ferries justified souls across these depths. The ferryman waits at the shore that is not quite shore, where water meets something else. He is ancient, his face weathered beyond age, beyond counting. His boat is simple, carved from acacia wood, the same wood used for coffins, for sacred furniture, for eternity. He does not speak first. The soul must ask, must prove worthiness, through knowledge, through words learned, through truth carried, like a lamp, into darkness. I know your name, ferryman of the waters between. I know the name of your boat. I know the name of each oar. I know the name of the sail. Though no wind blows here, I know the name of the rudder that steers through timelessness. I have come in peace. I have spoken no lies in life. I have stolen no offerings. I have caused no tears. I am justified. Let me board. Let me cross. The ferryman nods, slowly, once, gesture toward the boat. The soul steps aboard. The vessel does not rock, does not respond to weight. It simply accepts. The ferryman pushes off, with a pole carved from cedar, brought from distant Lebanon, in ages past, when kings built great tombs and temples reached toward heaven. The boat glides, soundlessly, across water without current, without tide. The only movement is forward, always forward, toward the far shore, toward the next threshold, toward dawn, still distant, still waiting. Time passes. But time is strange here. The crossing might take moments or lifetimes. There is no difference. The soul sits in the boat, watching the darkness, above and below, indistinguishable. The ferryman poles steadily, his movements economical, practiced through eternities. He has carried pharaohs, and farmers, queens, and weavers, children, and ancients. All are equal in this boat, on this water, in this passage, beneath the surface. If surface has meaning, shapes move, shadows within shadow, ancient things that predate creation, they do not threaten, they simply exist, part of the fabric of this realm. The soul watches, without fear, those who carry Mat, the principle of truth and balance, in their hearts. Need not fear. The creatures of the deep, the guardians of thresholds, the keepers of gates, they recognize what is justified, what is true. The far shore approaches, gradually, like dawn approaching, but slower, gentler. The water ends, the boat touches sand, black sand, fine as incense powder. The soul rises, steps onto shore, turns to thank the ferryman, but he is already gone. The boat, already returning, across the still waters, to ferry the next soul, the next traveler, through eternity. The journey continues. The third region opens, a vast hall, carved from living rock, or perhaps created from will, from belief, from millions of souls, imagining it into being. The ceiling vanishes into darkness above. Columns rise, massive, covered in hieroglyphs that glow faintly with their own light. The floor is polished stone, cool beneath the soul's feet. Each step echoes, but the echo comes before the step, time folding upon itself. Along the walls, paintings, brilliant colors, untouched by age, because age has no meaning here. Scenes of the gods, Ra in his solar bark, sailing through the hours of night, Osiris enthroned, green-skinned, lord of the dead, judge of souls, Isis spreading her wings, protective, maternal, eternal, Thoth with his ibis head, recording, measuring, ensuring balance. The soul walks through this painted hall, remembering the temples of the living world, where priests moved at dawn, opening doors to inner sanctums, where statues of gods resided, fed daily, clothed daily, honored daily. Those rituals, those careful observances, were practice for this, for moving through the Duat, with reverence, with knowledge, with propriety. The gods here are not distant. They are immediate, present. At the hall's center, a lake of fire, but fire that does not burn, fire that illuminates, purifies. This is the lake of fire, where souls are tested, not by pain, but by truth. The justified pass through, unharmed, cleansed, Those who carry falsehood, who weighted their hearts with wrongdoing, cannot cross. The soul approaches, pauses at the edge. The flames dance, blue and gold and white, mesmerizing. The spells rise again. I am pure. I am pure. I am pure. I am pure. 4 times spoken, for the 4 cardinal directions, for the 4 sons of Horus, for the 4 corners of existence. My purity is the purity of the phoenix that rises from flames, reborn. My purity is the purity of the lotus that emerges from mud, unstained. My purity is the purity of the stars that shine eternal, unchanging. I cross. The flames part. A path opens. The soul walks through fire, feeling warmth, but not burning, feeling transformation, but not destruction. Each step is deliberate, mindful. The fire responds to intention, to truth, to the weight of the heart, measured against the feather. Though that weighing comes later, still ahead, in the hall of 2 truths, where Osiris waits, where judgment occurs. But first, many more thresholds, many more passages, beyond the lake of fire, the 4th region, a garden impossible and perfect. Trees grow here, not like earthly trees. These are the trees of eternity. Their leaves do not fall. Their fruit never rots. They provide shade, without casting shadows. The soil beneath is black, rich, the black soil of Egypt, left by the Nile's flood, but deeper, more essential, the soil of creation itself. The soul rests here, for a moment or an age. Time remains uncertain, sits beneath a sycamore, the sacred tree, associated with Hathor, goddess of love, of joy, of the western horizon, where souls enter the Duat. She sometimes appears as the tree itself, offering sustenance, bread and water. To the weary traveler, the soul accepts, eats, drinks, is renewed. In the garden, other souls rest. Some have been here for countless years. By earthly reckoning, they sit in peace, talking quietly or in silence, sharing the eternal rest before continuing toward judgment, toward the final halls, toward transformation. The soul greets them, recognizes some family members who crossed before, friends, neighbors, all equal now. In this place, a priest from Memphis who served Ptah for 40 years sits beneath a date palm, his face serene. He speaks of the temples, of the morning rituals, opening the sanctuary, burning incense, chanting the hymns. His voice is soft, reminiscent, not sad, not yearning, simply remembering, honoring what was, while accepting what is. The soul listens, learns. That memory is not burden, but gift. A woman who wove linen in Thebes sits by a pool. That reflects the sky. That isn't quite sky. She trails her fingers in water. That isn't quite water. She speaks of her children, grown now, living their lives. She misses them, but knows she will see them again when their time comes, when they too cross into the Duat, begin their own journeys. Time is patient. Eternity waits for everyone. Eventually, the soul rises after rest, after sustenance, after learning that the journey need not be rushed, that fear is unnecessary, that knowledge protects, and truth guides. The path continues through the garden to its far edge, where a gate stands, tall, made of electrum, that mysterious alloy of gold and silver, gleaming, though no light source is visible. The gate is guarded by a deity, neither male nor female, both and neither, tall as the gate itself, crowned with the double crown of Upper and Lower Egypt, united, as all must unite, in the Duat, upper and lower, heaven and earth, life and death. All boundaries dissolve. The guardian speaks, voice like wind through papyrus, like water over stone, like sand shifting in the desert night. Who comes to this gate? Who seeks passage? Who dares approach? The hall of challenges? The soul answers, voice steady, strengthened by rest, by knowledge, by truth carried, like a lamp. I am a soul justified. I come from the hall of fire. I have been purified. I seek the hall of two truths. I seek judgment. I do not fear, for I have lived with Maat. I have spoken truth. I have acted with balance. Let me pass. The guardian considers, eyes that see, beyond surface, beyond words, into the heart itself, reading the weight, the content, the truth. Finally, a nod. The gate opens, silently, smoothly, as if it weighed nothing, as if it had never been closed. The soul passes through, into the fifth region, where challenges await, not to harm, but to prove, to demonstrate what has been learned. This region is a labyrinth, passages branching, turning back on themselves, leading forward and backward and sideways, through spaces that defy earthly geometry. The walls are carved with questions, with riddles, with tests, written in sacred script. The soul must answer, must demonstrate knowledge of the spells, of the gods' names, of the proper words, for each threshold, each doorway, each guardian. The first passage asks, what is the name of the door? The soul answers, without hesitation, knowledge gained through years of preparation, through texts studied, through priests' teaching. In the house of life, where scribes learned, where wisdom was preserved, the door is called Repeller of the Serpents. The threshold is called Mistress of Trembling. The lintel is called Loud of Voice. The door opens. The soul continues deeper into the labyrinth. Each passage offers new challenges, new questions. What are the names of the 42 assessor gods? The soul recites, O far strider from Heliopolis, I have done no falsehood. O fire embracer from Keraha, I have not robbed. O nosy from Hermopolis, I have not been rapacious. O swallower of shades from the cavern, I have not stolen. On and on, the negative confession, declaring what was not done, what evil was avoided. The labyrinth listens. The walls themselves seem to absorb the words, testing their truth against the speaker's heart. The soul continues, voice steady. Through all 42 declarations, some challenge, some easy, all necessary. I have not killed, I have not caused suffering, I have not made anyone weep, I have not been deaf to Maat, I have not stirred up strife, I have not blasphemed. The litany completes. A new passage opens. This one asks different questions, not about deeds, but about knowledge. What are the parts of the divine bark? The soul answers, the bow is called image of truth. The stern is called mighty in strength. The rudder is called leg of Hapch. The cabin is called Uraeus on the brow, each part named, each part known. The passage approves, allows progress. Time folds and unfolds. The labyrinth seems endless, Yet the soul does not tire, not in the way bodies tire. There is purpose here, direction, even when the path turns back upon itself. Even when confusion threatens, the spells provide guidance. The knowledge provides certainty. The truth provides protection. Another guardian appears, this one crocodile-headed, powerful, ancient, patient, waiting. The crocodile guardian, Sobek in his aspect, as protector of the dead. He does not threaten, does not snap those powerful jaws, simply watches, with eyes that have seen every soul that passed this way. He asks, do you know the way forward? Do you carry the map within your heart? The soul nods. The map is Mat, truth itself, the guide, the path, the destination, all three. Sobek steps aside. The labyrinth opens into a straight passage, long, lined with torches that burn without fuel, without smoke, their light steady, eternal. The soul walks between these lights, feeling their warmth, their welcome. The end of the labyrinth approaches. The sixth region waits beyond, a place of deeper mysteries, greater revelations. The journey continues, ever forward, toward dawn. Scene 42. The sixth region is a cavern, vast beyond measure, the ceiling invisible, lost in darkness above, the floor uneven, natural stone, untouched by human hands. This is the cavern of Sokar, the ancient god, of the deep earth, of craftsmanship, of transformation. Here, the old body, the earthly form, is fully left behind. Here, the soul becomes purely spirit, purely intention, purely light. Sokar himself appears, mummiform, standing impossibly tall, his skin the color of stone, of earth, of permanence. His eyes are closed, yet he sees everything. He does not speak, but understanding flows from his presence. This is the deepest point of the Duat, the Nadir, the place of complete darkness, before the turn, before the ascent, before dawn approaches. The soul must pass through this absolute depth. In the cavern, there is silence, profound, complete, the kind of silence that predated sound, that will outlast all noise. The soul stands in this silence and hears its own essence, the core of being, stripped of all earthly attachments, all desires, all fears, all memories that are not essential. What remains is pure, is true. The silence speaks, without words, without sound. It communicates, through presence, through being. The soul understands that death is not ending, but transformation, that the journey through the Duat is not punishment, but purification, that judgment ahead is not condemnation, but recognition of what already is, of what has always been, the truth of the heart, revealed, acknowledged, honored. Slowly, gradually, light appears, not from any source, but from within. The stones themselves begin to glow, faintly, a phosphorescence, like desert sand, under moonlight. The cavern reveals itself, walls covered. In the oldest writing, hieroglyphs from the first dynasties, before pyramids, before temples, when gods and humans walked closer, when the veil was thinner. The soul walks through the cavern, reading the ancient texts, some familiar, some forgotten, some never known by the living. These are the secret spells, the hidden knowledge, available only to those who have crossed, who have made the journey, who stand in the depths of the Duat itself. The words glow, brighter as the soul approaches, responding to presence, to worthiness, to truth. One spell speaks of transformation. I have become Kepri, the scarab, the self-created. I have become Ra, the sun, the life-giver. I have become Atom, the completed one, the evening sun. I am all three, and none. I am the cycle, the eternal return, the promise that dawn follows every darkness, that life follows every death, that breath follows every stillness. The soul absorbs these revelations, feeling transformation, continuing. The bar grows stronger, the wings more substantial. The car burns brighter, the vital force reconnecting with cosmic energy, with the divine spark that animates all creation. The cavern begins to shift, to change. The floor slopes upward now, the path ascending from the depths toward the surface, toward the next region. The seventh region opens gradually. The cavern walls give way to worked stone, carved blocks, fitted perfectly. This is a temple, underground, built by gods, not humans. Its architecture defies earthly rules. Columns that support, nothing. Doorways that lead, sideways through space. Stairs that ascend and descend simultaneously. In this temple, the gods gather, not all at once, but in groups, in aspects, in manifestations. The soul sees Thoth at a desk, recording, always recording, every word spoken, every deed done, every thought conceived. His ibis head bends over papyrus, his reed pen, never pausing, never tiring, eternal scribe of truth. Further on, Sekhmet sits, lioness-headed, powerful, but at rest, her fierce aspect softened here, in the Duat. She is protector, not destroyer, guardian, not avenger. She watches as souls pass, ensuring safe passage through regions where dangers lurk for the unjustified, but not here, not for those who carry truth. Anubis appears again. He has been present throughout the journey, sometimes visible, often not, but always guiding, always protecting. Here in the temple, he stands beside an altar of black stone. Upon it, oils and unguents for anointing, for blessing. He gestures. The soul approaches, kneels, is anointed on the forehead, the heart, the hands. The anointing completes. The soul rises, feeling more present, more real, more substantial. In this realm between life and eternity, Anubis speaks, his voice like wind. Through a tomb passage, you have journeyed far. You have passed many thresholds. You have spoken the words. You have proved your knowledge. Now comes the true test, the weighing of the heart. In the hall of two truths, are you ready? The soul considers the question, is anyone ever truly ready for judgment, for the moment, when all is revealed, when the heart's weight is measured against the feather of Mart, but ready or not? This is why the journey was undertaken, why the passage through the Duat was necessary, unavoidable, essential. The soul nods. I am ready. Anubis leads through the temple, down corridors lined with statues of all the gods of Egypt's long history, local deities, national gods, ancient powers, all witness to what comes next. Their stone eyes seem to follow the soul's passage, not threatening, but observing, recording, remembering each soul that passes, each judgment that unfolds. The corridor opens into a vast hall, the hall of two truths, Maat, the principle, and the goddess. Here both meanings converge, become one. The hall stretches, long and wide, its floor polished, reflecting the countless souls who have stood here before, who will stand here after. The journey through eternity continues for everyone. Eventually, at the hall's far end, a throne raised on a dais, 7 steps, each step representing a stage of transformation, a level of understanding, a degree of purification. Upon the throne, Osiris sits, green-skinned, Lord of the dead, King of eternity, wearing the 8F crown, tall, white, flanked by ostrich feathers, his crook and flail crossed over his chest, symbols of authority, of judgment. To Osiris's right, Isis stands, his sister wife, great mother, mistress of magic, she who gathered the scattered pieces of her murdered husband, she who brought him back to rule the dead. Her presence is compassion, understanding that judgment is not cruelty, but necessity. Truth must be acknowledged. Balance must be maintained. To Osiris's left, Nephthys stands, sister of Isis, wife of Set, lady of the temple, protector of her coffins. She represents the darkness. That is not evil. The ending, that is not final. The sleep that precedes. Awakening, together, the three form the judgment seat, where all souls must appear, must be weighed, must be known. In the center of the hall, a scale stands, taller than a person, made of gold and ebony and precious stones. The beam perfectly balanced, 2 pans hanging on golden chains, one pan empty, waiting, the other holds a single feather, white, light, perfect, the feather of Maat, truth itself, made tangible, made measurable. Beside the scale, Thoth waits, his palette and pen ready to record a judgment, whatever it may be. Anubis stands at the scale, his hands gentle but steady, ready to place the heart in the empty pan, ready to see if it balances against the feather, if truth matches truth, if life lived reflects cosmic order. In a corner, something else waits. Amit, the devourer, part crocodile, part lion, part hippopotamus,